went from 60 to 0 in a blink of an eye. It gets more interesting. Okay, I'm reading stats everywhere, different stats. So anywhere from 28 to 30 million Americans are unemployed. 7.5 million small businesses are at risk of closing if this continues. And we are all at a point right now that we have to pivot and get out of pivot paralysis and change it up so that we can not just survive this thing, but we can also thrive, right? Now more than ever, we have to be thinking about how do we want to express our services and goods, and how can we be of more service to everybody out there, because individuals need our goods and services, right? So I have a really great treat for you today, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Have you ever heard the expression that content is king? If you have, type in the chat and say that I have. Because I'm going to tell you right now, one of the reasons that my practice and my online forum is super successful is because of the way that I can create content very, very quickly. And today, I have a special guest for you. For those guys who don't know me, my name is Isa Herrera. I am an entrepreneur, I'm a businesswoman, and I help women have happier lady parts. And I am the founder of pelvicpainrelief.com. I also am really concerned about the professionals in my community right now who keep emailing me telling me that they don't know what's going to happen next. They don't know how they're going to put food on their table. So I am so excited, right, to be able to offer you something really fantastic. Type in the word content to get a special invitation to this program that I think is going to transform and make things a hell of a lot easier for you. And with no delay, I want to introduce my guest today. My guest is Nick Wolny. He is a media strategist. He is a total badass. Okay. I want to make sure that I'm sharing this to my personal page because I have a lot of pros on my personal page who definitely need to be watching this. If you can't watch it now, hit the share button so it goes on your timeline. And if you're watching it later, thank you everyone for watching the replay. I am super excited to bring one of the most incredible content creators and one of the smartest guys on the internet right now. And I've said enough, and we're all I'm sure that everybody wants to just listen to you. So let's bring you on. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you for being here. I am completely excited right now to have Nick Wolny here as my guest to come and help the community solve this problem of content creation and transforming it to sales and bringing your business up into the forefront. So, sort of using content as a grassroots process. And so, let me tell you a little bit about Nick, because Nick is a total badass. Okay, I mean, he has been in almost every media outlet that you could imagine. Just go to his page and you'll see it. He is a media strategist and a writer for executives and entrepreneurs. I've used his services and he's amazing. He's given over 40 live TV interviews commenting on marketing and technology. He has written for every magazine. Lee Pages describes him as a creative thinker whose marketing strategy converts big, right? Success Magazine describes him as a Facebook ads expert. And in 2018, the Houston, how you will call it, Business Journal declared him a top LGBTQ owned business personality. I'm going to tell you something. He's going to bring it for you. So make sure, go get a pen, go get a pencil. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you for watching on the replay. Type in the word content and you're going to get a beautiful message on Messenger on how to go deeper with Nick. So thank you, Nick, for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, super excited to have you. And, things happen. I mean, technology is our friend. You can make our technology even friendlier for us. So I think that that's really exciting.
Yeah, I think you also brought up a really great point, Issa, where it's, we've got a kind of like an unusual economic landscape right now where people who are used to providing services in person are now suddenly disarmed from being able to do that. And I think what's important to remember before we really dive into the conversation and these tips is
Mhm.
that this is happening right now, and eventually social distancing regulations will get relaxed. But what we also don't know is, in the fall, is this going to come back, and are we going to have to re-quarantine? Is this going to
Right.
become an annual situation, even as we start to develop a vaccine, or however that's playing out, where you may have to quarantine for a period of time every year, and that's just what the future of business looks like. I think for many business owners, it's becoming more important than ever to realize, oh, not only do I need to really ramp up and amp up my experience online and being able to educate people online,
Yep.
but perhaps I need to take some of that online education that I have spent months or years creating, and maybe I need
Mhm.
to package some of that up in a way that can be consumed completely virtually, so that I am able to keep revenue going, in case this happens again, or in case after we start to open up, we got to change direction and we got to shut back down again, right?
So
I don't want
true.
business owners to end up in the situation that there are now over and over again.
It's so true. I think that right now, I'm speaking to a lot of different professionals in my group, and some of them are suffering from pivot paralysis. Right? They're
Mm,
not quite sure what to do. They're not quite sure what to go. But I know one thing. I know that content is key. I know that when you have content, you can create your own destiny and you can change your legacy. So I want to talk about, how do you create the right content right now? How do you, and how can you do that in a way that makes sense so that you can have a bigger online presence?
yeah, it's a great question because it seems like there's so much content already on the
Hmm.
internet, right? There's actually an industry term that's begun to float around called peak content, which is that now we're at the point on the internet where it seems as though everyone has written everything about everything, right? And so if you just Google enough, or you just start to search and poke around online, you can get the information that you need. And so now what people are looking for has started to change. Instead of just getting the information, a lot of people actually have too much information. It's a little bit overwhelming, their access to information. So
Hmm.
what's valuable now is to get the right information in the right order, or to get the right information at the right time, right? And so I think of it as four different hoops for your audience to jump through before they eventually buy from you. No matter who you are, no matter what your business model is, your prospective customer is going to go through four different objections or four different experiences before they end up handing their money over to you and getting the help that they need, right?
Right.
So objection number one is, why do anything at all? Right?
Hmm.
I'm sitting on the couch, I'm eating Cheetos. It's pretty good. Why should I do anything at all? Now, for some people, if your market is in pain, or if your market is really inconvenienced, then you're slashing right through this objection, right? You may not
Hmm.
even need to necessarily create content. My tooth hurts. I'm already looking for the dentist. I don't need to, object to why I should do something or not do something because I'm in pain. But if you have someone else who, just a different business model or something like that, you may need to first illustrate why you should take action rather than not take action, right? Because people are lazy. So we want to get it in people's heads that, hey, it's a good idea to put the Cheetos aside and to dust the Cheeto dust off your shirt and to get up and get off the couch, right?
Yeah.
That's number one. Okay. So then number two. So people have decided, okay, I'm ready to do something. Now, why should I do this thing? Right?
Hmm.
So specifically, so I do a lot of work in marketing, right? It's like, should I start a Facebook page? Should I send more emails? Should I write blogs for my website? Should I be, oh God, do I need to get on TikTok? Oh no,
No, no,
like
not that.
all these different things, right? And it's
Yeah.
overwhelming. So next you need to educate people from a content perspective. Why should you do this thing specifically? Right?
Yeah.
So why should you do this thing specifically? Then from there, you want to get into why should I do this thing with you? Why should I do this thing with you? Right. So what ends
Hmm.
up coming up there is, okay, why should I trust you specifically? Why are you the right person for the job? And this is where a lot of the stuff that we really love to bring in, like around media, around testimonials, anything like that. That stuff tends to come in really, really handy right around this time, right? So you want to convince people now that they are clear that
Hmm.
they want to come in and they want to use this particular approach in order to solve their problem. Why should they be doing it specifically with you? And then
Right.
finally, the last one, this is the trickiest one, is why should you do this now? Right. So you have to help people overcome that objection. Why take action now and not later? Why work on it now and not later? Right. So, and sometimes people will be in that objection for weeks, for months. Any business owner knows this. They've convinced people that they have a problem, they've convinced
Right.
people that they are the solution to the problem. And still, sometimes people just kind of float around, in this sort of painful purgatory. So, why should people be taking action now? And content can help people identify why they should act now and not later, right?
Right.
So at most, you don't need dozens or hundreds of blogs. You don't need dozens of Facebook posts. You don't need to do 20 posts a week and then feel like you're back at zero. You just need enough content to overcome those four different objections. So why do anything at all? Why do
Hmm.
this thing? Why do this thing with me? And why do this thing now?
Okay,
And
we're gonna write these down. We're gonna share them with the audience.
amazing.
I just want to make sure that I think the video just dropped out. So let's recap those 4 points because
Sure.
I think that what happens is we feel that we put a piece of content out there, that we put a website up, and all of a sudden people are gonna go knock, knock, knocking on your door and just like they're
Mhm,
gonna buy from you. And this is not
mhm,
the case. I mean,
right.
it's proven that the individual needs a minimum of 4 to 12 touches. And what I mean by touch is 4 to 12 touches before they even buy from you and start to trust you. So
Mhm.
let's review those four objections again.
Sure. I was getting really excited, so now I can show off my excitement as
Yeah,
well
yeah, please.
in the
And then
video.
let's
Yeah.
type up the
And it
first one.
also
Yeah.
brings up a good point where, you may not even necessarily need four pieces of content. Sometimes you can get all of those objections knocked out with a couple of pieces of content or maybe even one piece of content. If it's like a really juicy piece of content and it gives your customer all the answers that they need, then you can get it done with one or two pieces of content, right? Again, it's about the having the right content. So there's four hoops of fire that your customer is going to jump through before they end up buying from you. So why do anything at all?
Hmm.
Why do anything versus just sitting on the couch? Why do this particular thing? Why is this way the best way? Why do this thing with me? And then why do this thing now? And those four
Beautiful.
will help your content strategy. Yeah.
And then if you can incorporate them, and I'm sure you're going to be able to help everyone incorporate some of this information into one piece of content, right?
Yep.
Because then we can get them through the process a little bit much quicker. So I'm really excited. Type in the word content to get a special invitation to Nick's new business course. This is a business Facebook Live today. So those are the only types of questions that I am currently taking. All right. Now that we got through the process, right? There's a lot of practitioners and business people right now suffering because I believe that this is actually the brick and mortar apocalypse. I think that the way there's a new normal. And how
Mm.
can business owners bring their resources online with this new normal? Because I feel like so many of my friends got really blasted really hard because they have no online presence. What is your recommendation for that, Nick?
Yeah, a lot of it is about even realizing how to take your skill set and how to package it in whether it be a product, whether it be a program, or whether it be a service. For me, there are a lot of fitness people in my community, and these
Mm-hmm.
people, they're going online for the first time, and so what immediately comes to mind is service. Okay, I'm going to still be a personal trainer or whatever, but I'm just going to do it over a camera instead of in person, right? And that is one of a number of ways to virtualize your services. And so that's really what content is. It's taking your expertise and it's formulating it into whether, whatever different
Mm-hmm.
modality ends up working. So for some people, they really like writing. Perhaps you like writing articles, perhaps you like explaining things like that. For other people, they love podcasts, they love
Yeah.
audio, they love recording audio, they love listening to audio. If you're someone whose service involves a lot of education or a lot of communication, that can be a great outlet. And then for other people, video is a great way to be creating content. At the end of the day, maybe it's clearest when you can show someone something, and so you want to create a video in order to do that. But whatever your vehicle of content ends up being,
Mm-hmm.
it's good to remember that you only end up having three different types of audiences. And
Mm-hmm.
this can help to shape how you are packaging your expertise, right? So the first audience, this is our favorite audience, Issa,
Yeah.
is called the informed audience, right? And
Yes.
the informed audience, they know that they have a problem and they know what the solution is. And now it's just about, persuading them to take action on the solution or perhaps giving them some more information about the solution, all of
Mm-hmm.
that good stuff, right? So the informed audience, they know they have a problem and they know they have a solution. And we love them because
Right.
then it could just be a real conversation, right? About, like continuing to educate them about the solution and why they should act now. Then you have another audience of people, and this audience is called the afflicted audience. All right.
Mm-hmm.
This audience of people are aware that they have a problem, but they are not aware of what the solution is or why the solution is right for them. So you can imagine when it comes to your wealth of expertise, you'll need to shift how you're communicating with these people. Because if you're just slamming them with the solution, right?
Right.
Like buy
Right.
now, buy now, buy now, and they don't know what the solution is, then it's good content, but it's put in front of them at the wrong stage, right? Like they need a little bit more education. They need more information about the solution and to be convinced why that solution will solve their problems, right? So that's the afflicted audience. Our goal is to get this afflicted group of people to become informed, because then we can just be like, I have the solution. I have the solution. Come hang out, right? And then you have another audience of people called the
Mm-hmm.
oblivious audience. And these people are tough, right? Because these people don't know that they have a problem.
Right.
Right. And so and it becomes a challenge. So if I am out on the internet, dancing around and telling people that creating content quickly is the way to go, and you can create content quickly in my program, but they don't know that there's a problem, then I'm going to get tuned out real quick, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
first need to actually go in and I need to twist the knife a little bit, or if someone is inconvenienced in some way, I need to highlight that inconvenience. I need to bring it to that person's attention that they have a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then they'll realize that they are afflicted, and then I can start to talk about the solution that's going to take their problem away. So I think for many practitioners, many business owners, you have more information than you will ever need.
So true.
In terms of creating content, in terms of educating people. And I think where people start to get tangled up is
Mm-hmm.
they are taking that information and they are putting it in front of their audience at the wrong time. They're either, blasting this oblivious audience with, I've got a course that you can do yourself for a fraction of the price. Isn't that great? But they're not,
Mm-hmm.
those people they don't even think they have a problem. And then, what's almost more hurtful for your revenue is the opposite, where you've got people that are really clear on the solution. And, you're going over to them and you say, do you know what social media is?
Yeah.
Right. And, like bring again, also the right kind of information, but to the wrong audience. That audience is already really warmed up. They just need to be sold on why they should act and take the solution now. Right.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought this up about the audiences, and we have the informed, the afflicted, and the oblivious. Those three types of audience. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I mean, I'm a writer. I've written 5 books, but what I see over and over again when my students send me information, they send me blogs, they're just talking to the wrong audience, and they're expecting these really dramatic results, and they're expecting to sell their courses, their programs, and there's been no awareness. And not only that, the individual doesn't even know that they want it. So
Mhm.
so when you're writing, you really got to be thinking about your audience. And I'm glad that you share that with everybody, because I think that that's a big mistake. And I think you're going to be going over this deeper in your group program
Mm.
that is starting soon. So I'm recommending that everybody who wants to use content as a way to get their information out there, as a way to position themselves as an authority, as a way to market, promote, and sell your services, right? Then this is the program that you need. Okay, 100%. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, right? Now, I think that that's important. Now, there's a lot of things going on right now. I see a lot of businesses hurting right now, and I just want to help everybody. And so there was the third tip that we had discussed about. Um, One was the 4 points in the beginning. Can you just review those one more time for all of us?
Sure. Well, in addition to what we just talked about with the audiences, it's actually very similar, right? Like it's kind of trickling down. The
Mm-hmm.
4 points that you'll need to overcome as you are educating those audiences are, why do anything at all? So that the
Mm-hmm.
oblivious audience is walking around, like they're happy. They're like, oh, there's a virus. Oh, right. Like they're just completely oblivious, right? So why
I'm
do
happy to be
anything at
home.
all? Yeah, this is great. And then next you have why do this particular thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
kind of presenting the solution. And then after that, why do this thing with me? So that's really of those 4 stages of content, that's where you're puffing up your chest a little bit, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
saying like, hey, you should work with me and not someone else. I have these credentials. I have this many years of experience. I've helped this many people. I have the endorsement of these media outlets, etc. And then finally, it's why do this thing now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why do this thing now? Take action now, not later.
I'm so glad that you mentioned those things. What else can you help? How else what else can you advise us?
Well, I
What is
think
the
one,
third tip?
yeah. So I think one of the biggest things to be thinking about right now, and we talked about it at the top of the call actually, is that we're in this space where, especially if you have a brick and mortar, you're a little paralyzed and you have to
Mm-hmm.
be active online and you have to create a solution where you can sell online. But what we also don't know is that, there's a possibility that this thing is going to rear its ugly head again in the fall, or that this is going to become some sort of a perennial situation. So now all of a sudden, the production of content and being able to produce products or programs, things like that online
Mm-hmm.
is something that many, many more people are thinking about than ever before. Right.
Yeah.
And so, what is important is not only to make that content relevant to your audience in the ways that we just discussed, but to make it really, really easy to consume so that people can feel super duper successful and that it helps them take care of their problems, right? We want to help
Right.
people remove their problems. So if you are marketing online, you want to be able to get back in front of people again and again and again. So one of the biggest things that I recommend from a content perspective is to zero in on what are called your lead magnets, right? We love lead magnets,
We
Ista.
love lead magnets.
We
That's my
love
favorite
opt-in.
thing.
Yeah. They're also called opt-in bribes. The word bribe
Hmm.
gets kind of a bad rap, but this is an ethical bribe. This is
It is an,
offering.
I believe,
Yep.
it's an ethical vibe.
Yep.
It's
Absolutely.
an exchange of energy. You
Yep.
know.
Yep, absolutely. And it's an invitation into someone's inbox. So probably most of the people listening to this have gotten a lead magnet or an opt-in bribe before. It's essentially a piece of content or a free gift or a discount that you receive in exchange for your email address and being
Hmm.
added to a newsletter, right? Most people have experienced this, even in something like if you go shopping online, you go to a clothing website and a little pop-up comes up and it says, hey, get 30% off your first order, enter your email here, right? That's an opt-in bribe. So we want to create these different lead magnets and opt-in bribes and just create different stuff that we can use to build our email list, because
Hmm.
the email list is probably the most powerful audience that you have as a business owner. I know, Issa, you love being on TikTok and all that stuff. But the thing about the email list is that no matter what is happening with algorithms, or
Yeah.
like if one day Facebook decides to change its mind, or shuffle the deck in terms of what posts get seen, you're not at the mercy of that if you are doing some sort of email marketing and you have an email marketing strategy, right? Even
Yeah.
if the open rates are not super high, you're getting back in front of people again and again. You mentioned earlier the 4 to 12 touches piece.
Hmm.
Even if people aren't opening all of your emails, the fact that they see the name of you and your business over and over and over again, I mean, not in a super, pushy kind of way, but they're just reminded again and again of who you are and what you provide. It's much easier to achieve that in email than it is in other platforms. So content is a great way to not only get people onto your email address and start to build your audience,
Hmm.
but then also start the process of educating people on why they have a problem and why they want to pursue a solution that you happen to have or that you happen to sell, right? When you
Hmm.
help people and you help take away their problems, you've got them and they're going to listen to everything that you say. And even if those people end up not becoming buyers or they don't become buyers, for a little while, the fact that you'll have an engaged audience and that audience will start to grow, that is a major, major asset, especially in situations like this where
Hmm.
the doors are closed, right? Like you can't go into the clinic, you can't go in to get one-to-one services, you can't have contact with other people. So I think it's something important to be thinking about for any business owner. I think a lot of business owners are thinking about it more right now. Like,
Yeah.
how do I work online? How do I work virtually? Well, when you have the audience, then you can even go to them and say, hey, if I were to create something online where you could work with me, what would you want? You can
Right.
actually start to survey those people and you can have them tell you what they will give you the money for, right? And
I know.
so you don't have to be like a brilliant, oh, I'm going to make all these amazing video courses or anything like that. You don't need to do that. You just need to take your expertise and package it up into these little bite-sized bits that people can consume, and you'll start to build an audience. And then your audience will just tell you what they want and what they need, and then you can provide it to them, and boom, you've got an online source of
I'm
revenue.
going to tell you everything that you've given here, gold. Gold. And I tell me a little bit. I want to know about your new program because I'm excited. I'm actually going to join your program because I think
Oh,
it's really that incredible. I'm always about content. I'm a
mhm,
content machine. I really am. But now
mhm.
I want to create better content. I don't want to be a machine. I want to be like the queen of content. I want to,
Yes.
and I know that your program. So tell me a little bit about your program. Well, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've also worked together previously in like a done with you program in a group program setting.
Oh yeah, we've worked together so many times.
I know. I love group programs, and I've recently exited my agency job, and now I'm working for myself in my own business. And I knew that one of the things that I wanted to create is a live group program where people are interacting with me live each week.
Hmm.
I am presenting content live, and then I'm also able to do a lot of and then also that there is a community, but that it's small. I don't want to have thousands of people in a community and be trying to help everyone. My head will explode, right? I like to help people one to one, give people some intimate touch points, give some ideas, shoot around different creative ideas, all that stuff. So I've got a new program. The doors open today, and
Yes.
it's called, yes. So it's day one. It's called Fast Content Formula.
Mm-hmm.
And if you find
You
that
put
you have ever experienced anything like blank page syndrome, right? Like you finally block off 2 hours and you're going to write a blog post or you're going to do something like that. And you just spend 90% of that time staring at a blank page and you're like, should I write about this? Should I write about that? What should
right.
I do? How do I do? How do I operate this technical thing? What's going on? All these different little obstacles. Well, we want to get you creating content fast that is relevant to your business, right? So I'm not interested in this content that like an Instagram influencer is going to do where they take a selfie of themselves and they call it content. I want
Right.
to help you create content that's relevant for your business and people are going to be interested in. And then if you choose, I want you to have everything you need to be able to turn that content into potential online products or programs, and then have a marketing strategy where month in and month out, you're talking about something that is actually connected to a way that people can pay you or that people can buy from you. Because then
Yeah.
you'd be happy to post online and be posting all this different content and stuff, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Fast Content Formula, it's a 10-week program. It begins on May 11th, but the doors open today.
Yeah.
And yes, and it is, even though it's a 10-week program, you will be creating content in the very first week of this program. If you are wondering about, okay, how can I repurpose past assets? What part of my expertise should I take and put out there first? This program is actually designed for you to make content that is great first, and then we talk about how to work it into your business.
Yeah.
There's also a bunch of other great stuff. We're going to have some weekly Q&A calls. I love swipe files, right? I know it's probably a shocker that I love content. And so, you're going to have some files around like content prompts. You're never going to run out of ideas again in this
Mm-hmm.
program, right? Types of lead magnets. Maybe you should do a blueprint. Oh, what the heck is that? Here's how to do it.
Right.
Maybe you should do a video. Oh, where should I start? Here's how to start,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're going to have everything that you need, and you're also going to have a group of people who are doing it with you. And then the last thing I'll say, I think this part is cool, is that I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing it with you.
Yeah.
So I like the team feeling. I like being in the trenches with people. I am creating new content for my business, and so each week I will be doing the same homework, the same modules that everyone else in the program is doing. So we're actually doing it together, and I think that just kind of changes the energy of the program, right?
Yeah.
When instead of having the facilitator up on a pedestal, like
Right.
everyone is doing the work together. And so that is Fast Content Formula.
I'm super excited for it because honestly, right now, if you want to move, if you want to pivot, if you want to get out of paralysis, one of the fastest ways that we can do it is by creating content and bringing our expertise out there so that we're trusted, liked, right? And people buy from us. And the
Mhm.
way that we can do this is through content. We can build community, we can build our email list. So I am super excited for you, and I'm going to share this with my entire community because I think everyone needs to own this program right now. Right now. Because right now everything is really needed to just find a different way to express yourself. If you're stuck, right? And if you are in this situation where you're like, you don't know what's going to happen to your business, to your practice, then the moment is not to be thinking a little bit differently, to think, how can I get online? And by doing this fast content program, formula program, I think that it can really be the vehicle by which to get you out of pivot paralysis. So thank you so much, Nick, for being here. I will share this with everybody. I'll send this to my community. We'll have to edit it, which I think will be fine. And any parting words before we say goodbye?
I think that, it's important, especially during this time, to put yourself into a situation or put yourself into a community that is going to keep your spirits up, right? And to
Hmm.
keep you feeling uplifted and keep you feeling connected, but also having a sense of purpose, a sense of progress, right? So that you feel that you're doing something and that you can also see your peers in action as well. And so that's why this program was designed now. It is representative of the times we are in now, and it's designed to get you results now. So if that sounds interesting, check out more information.
Yeah, definitely. You're gonna type in the word content and you'll get a something in Messenger. And don't forget, you also get $100 off. Thank you, Nick, for being so generous in my community. You have to type in the word ISA to get that coupon code and $100 off. So without much ado, I want to thank you so much for being so generous with the information and your knowledge, and for extending your discount to my community.
Mm,
It's something that's much needed right now.
happy to do it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.